Good morning. I'm Kristen Folletti, and welcome to News Desk on SiliconANGLE TV for Tuesday, May 28th, 2013. BuzzFeed is collaborating with CNN and YouTube in an effort to reach out to the youth market. Join us now to discuss their new effort is SiliconANGLE Senior Managing Editor, Kristen Nicole. Hi, Kristen. Good to see you.
Hello. Good morning.
Today, BuzzFeed will unveil CNN BuzzFeed, a YouTube channel based on content from CNN, including archival and current content that's designed to be shared over social media networks. So, Kristen, tell us more about this new effort by BuzzFeed and explain how the content is designed for social media sharing. How does that work?
It's an interesting relationship that we're seeing develop between BuzzFeed and CNN, something that could be mutually beneficial for the both of them. But how this is going to work, CNN is going to be offering up some of their archive content to be included in the now famous BuzzFeed format. So it'll be very collection-based oriented. I think there's some already live this morning, a collection that went out on some of the top rescue scenes that we've seen shared on CNN's news network. So this is going to be something that you'll see on BuzzFeed's news site as well as their YouTube channel and possibly also through CNN. So making it more shareable in this BuzzFeed format, they're already pretty tied in with the social media crowd. So just another way to proliferate content for CNN. Of course, they are anxiously trying to get a younger demographic, get that news crowd, or get that younger crowd looped back in with the news that they push out.
So you described it as the already famous BuzzFeed format. So if you could just give us a little bit of background on BuzzFeed. In what ways has the platform established efforts so far to reach their target 18 to 34-year-old demo?
Well, one thing that they've done is kind of ignore the advertising sector early on, focus on the product, make sure that it is in line with their target demographic, and then layer in advertising options from there. So this is a very important part of their business strategy so far, and I believe this mentality is also going to play out with the new CNN partnership. So one thing that really helps BuzzFeed stand apart from the rest is the digestibility of it, and it's a very clickable website. If you ever go to BuzzFeed's website, there's just all kinds of interesting memes and topics that, you know, like it or not, whether this is something that is like a guilty fix that you don't want anybody to know about, or you're just a highly curious person, the mix of the formatting and the topics that they choose is a formula that's worked very well.
Why is BuzzFeed focusing on this type of video-based platform?
Well, I think one of the reasons, I can list a couple of reasons, it taps into more than one sense. So with music, we saw a new industry kind of play out with online sharing and digital formatting. The same mentality is being applied to video content, but it's even more engaging in certain regards. So in addition to being audio, it's also visual. And on top of that, video on the web is tactile in a sense, where you can add links and make it clickable. So even though you're not physically touching it, there are ways that you can interact through a web interface. So I think the three of those combined make video a very interesting format, and for BuzzFeed, making it very digestible and very topic driven. It's easy to contextualize content in this way and make it highly attractive to a large user base.
Mm-hmm. Explain to us how the YouTube content is going to appear to viewers.
So this will be in on the website with their news format. It'd be nice to have some screenshots here, but with just going through the early reports, the YouTube channel seems to be one of the big focal points here. So I think that distributing through that channel as well as through BuzzFeed, just the fact that this format will be highly shareable is the key thing to really focus on here. So some of the team members from BuzzFeed were really highlighting the importance of what people are checking when they pull up their phones or they're on their computers. They're going to Facebook and other social websites first. So this is where BuzzFeed wants to make sure that content is. And even though they're shifting to some new topic areas, this is something that they've been exploring for a little while. And there's been questions raised whether or not this will work for them. Just really trying to put the news topic, business topics, more serious topics, to be blunt, into the BuzzFeed shareable, digestible format, and spreading that through the social web. It's not a new concept, but it's certainly a new venture for BuzzFeed, and it'll take some time to see how well it really plays out, especially once we start layering in some advertising options.
This partnership also gives CNN the chance to bolster their appeal with younger audiences. We recently reported on Yahoo's acquisition with the youth-heavy blogging site Tumblr as part of Marissa Mayer's efforts to expand and appeal to a younger demo. So, Kristen, why is this 18 to 34-year-old demo so important to these different media companies?
Well, one thing that we pointed out in our early coverage this morning, this demographic of the 18 to 34-year-olds, they're highly active on the web. They're also the crowd that's going to be most comfortable using web interfaces, using mobile interfaces, also doing things like making purchases. So between purchase behavior and consumer intent, that's something that we've talked about a lot at SiliconANGLE and even on the News Desk program. Being able to capture that consumer intent really lends itself very well to advertisers that are looking to really target this spend happy demographic. So those two areas right there are going to be important, and just the fact that this is a highly active crowd on the web. I think these are all very, very important reasons. They all kind of tie back to the advertising angle of things. But from what we've learned also, it seems that BuzzFeed and CNN are going to really take a long form approach to how they're going to go about determining the best way to layer in advertising for this new channel.
So let's talk about advertising for a moment. Does BuzzFeed have any plans to monetize the platform? Why have they chosen this approach, and how is it going to work?
From what we've seen so far, it's very likely that we're going to see an advertising model come out of this, or at least something very specific to the partnership. So there's no telling what the details of that's going to be. As I mentioned before, video has some unique attributes that could be leveraged for advertising. So the clickability of videos and some of the other interactivity aspects of it, I think, could provide for some specialized advertising later on down the line, but they really haven't given too many specifics on how this is going to happen. One thing BuzzFeed has been developing in recent months is a program for advertisers directly that are interested in benefiting and learning from the BuzzFeed format. So what that means is, I believe later on this year in the third quarter, we'll be seeing the early results of what this planning, the training program is for advertisers, and how receptive advertisers are going to be learning from BuzzFeed. So this is something that CNN could be incorporated into in the future as well. They've already got some early supporters like VaynerMedia and some other larger brands. So whether or not they'll be able to attract the big advertisers, and whether or not this will be beneficial for some of their more mainstream traditional media partners like CNN remains to be seen. But obviously something that BuzzFeed is exploring on a couple different levels.
We've also been covering Yahoo's recent interest in an acquisition with video-based platform Hulu. Kristen, briefly, do you think this type of video-based approach is the key to winning that youth attention right now?
I think it's a really important factor. I think that there's a great deal of potential with video. I think with improved web speeds and mobility, and also the incorporation of traditional media formats like the connected TV, I think all of this is contributing to a more comprehensive format for videos to be spread on the web. And I think there's so much you can do with it. I have a lot of fun with videos online, especially being able to make your own playlists. And I bookmark videos that I like that I would want to have if I had my own TV channel. So I think there is certainly a great deal of potential and fun to be had with this. As far as monetizing it, I think some of these larger players, whether they're from the traditional media sector or from the new media sector, they both recognize the possibilities of monetizing this moving forward. And I really do think that there are several avenues that these companies and brands and advertisers can explore to make whatever their end product is going to be, they can make it very comprehensive and useful to the consumer.
Well, Kristen, it looks like that's our time for this morning, but thank you so much for your commentary on the subject.
Thank you.
And coming up on News Desk, Samsung is breaking records in China, and the entertainment industry wants to launch hack attacks on pirates. But first, SiliconANGLE founding editor Mark Risen-Hopkins joins us to discuss privacy implications surrounding a new technology that could be used in Google Glass.